Hello and welcome to On the Patio with Mr. D. Hey, I know during these trying times you can't get out and play a lot, and so I'm trying to get these reviews out. Some of the things that I've kind of set off to the side because being homebound, it sucks, okay? And maybe this can be entertaining for you and set up for when all this stuff gets all better. So anyway, what I'm looking at today, guys, I'm going to do a review on is a handheld Z-axis stabilizer. And it's for the DJI Osmo Pocket. Now, first off, the Osmo Pocket is a phenomenal little camera based out at $369. It has 4K at 30 frames a second, touchscreen, all kinds of fancy doodads in their Mimo app. I mean, it will do a lot of stuff, even has built-in stabilization, but it doesn't have really great built-in stabilization. Also, this is a designed 3-axis gimbal camera, not a 4-axis gimbal camera. So people that bash the heck out of this camera because it doesn't have the 4th axis, it wouldn't be this small. And it would cost a whole lot more money. So keep that in mind when you're looking at the Osmo Pocket for a small portable camera that does really, really great work. Now, however, when I was doing my on-water reviews, I noticed that when I was in wake or chop or something like that, where the bounces my kayak is like this, I noticed that my film, even with the stabilization, the horizon would bounce just a little bit. And I said, okay, I got to take that out. How do I do that? So I had to go find out, how can I take care of this situation? And I found out later that there are Z-axis stabilizers out there that would meet my needs. Okay, so what are my needs? One, the Z-axis stabilizer has to be small, portable, and has to be able to accept the Wi-Fi adapter. That's critical. Also, when you spin around in selfie mode, I can't have any obstructions in front of the lens because a lot of my narration is done in the kayak, and I'll go into the selfie mode, it'll spin around, and I can't have anything in the field of view of that camera lens other than myself. So that was another consideration. It had to be small enough to be able to be portable on my kayaks, and most importantly, it had to work. So anyway, I found out after a lot of research, I found out one of the only ones that would meet my needs, in fact, right now the only one that would meet my needs, is the STARTRC Z-axis stabilizer for the Osmo Pocket. So what we're going to do now, guys, is go ahead and get into this little Z-axis stabilizer. Now, y'all know I don't do open box stuff, but I am going to show you what comes with it. Then we're going to get into the setup, how to adjust it, all that kind of stuff. Then we're going to do a walk test and then an on-water field test. Then we're going to do a wrap-up and give you my thoughts. So, hey, we'll be back in a bit. This review is on the STARTRC handheld Z-axis stabilizer for the Osmo Pocket. Now, what you get in the box here is the stabilizer itself, the cell phone adapter, a double-sided 1/4-20 bolt with silicone washers on it, an Allen wrench key, a bag to hold it in, and a lanyard. Now, the lanyard I probably won't be using. It's kind of cool. It might be a good thing for me to hook up a microphone to, like one of my lapel mics, and I can do that in the field. That would be pretty cool. So it depends on what life jacket I'm wearing. If I'm wearing a PFD that doesn't have pockets, then I would use this. If I have one that has pockets, then I won't be using this because all my audio is done with a digital recorder. My setup is primarily going to be what you see right here is the Wi-Fi module, the Osmo Pocket, the gimbal lock from PGY Tech, the supplied phone mount, and of course the cell phone. Now, I use this on a adjustable monopod with tripod legs, and when I'm kayaking, that sits forward in the hull with my legs over the top of the tripod legs, and then I can raise it up and do my stuff. This is primarily the camera that I use a about 80–90% of the time now when I'm out on the water doing the reviews for Paddling Places Florida. So hey, let's get into the setup and how to balance this thing out and all that kind of stuff. So hey, we'll be back in a minute. What I'm going to do is adjust it is horizontal to the handle. They supply you with a Allen head screw, and right here is the adjustment point, and it's right here. So what you do now, I'm going to be using this on my kayak, so I'm going to have to put the Wi-Fi adapter on it before I stabilize the unit. Okay, turn it on to make sure I'm good. And you can see here I have the red light. So now I can go ahead and adjust this. And it is pretty much where it needs to be, as you can see here. But if you need to adjust it to tighten the tension and raise the arm up, you go clockwise. To reduce it, you go counterclockwise. The next thing is mounting the cell phone adapter. Now they supply you with a double-sided quarter 20 mount with silicone washers, and this is real simple. All you need to do is screw this on. Now it has the cold shoe and a quarter 20, so you want your cold shoe on the top. So if you're going to add microphone or whatever, you can do that. Now, you've got to make sure that you don't block anything here if you're going to do in the selfie mode, because I run this 100% off my cell phone. So just to mount it on your cell phone here, just lift it up, drop it into the phone mount, get it where you want it, and there you go. Now, I can operate this entire process all right here. If I want to get into selfie mode, I can spin it around. Now you can see why I said that if you put a big microphone in here, it's going to block the lens if you're going to do any selfie work. So then you would probably want to reverse the cold shoe and have the microphone down here. So you could do it that way. Now I use a lapel mic and a digital recorder, so that's not an issue with me at all. But you can operate your entire system right here from the Mimo app. And here we go, we're right back where we were. And then you can get recording, doing whatever you want to do. So it really works really, really well. Now the reason I bought this particular brand is because all the other brands, this part of it right here was solid at the bottom, so it could rest the Osmo Pocket solidly on the base. However, it eliminates you to have the ability to put your Wi-Fi adapter on, and that was critical for me, so that's why this particular model. Now, remember, if you're going to adjust this and you have your Wi-Fi adapter on, make sure you adjust it with all your accessories mounted, because I have a filter up here, and then I have the Wi-Fi adapter here. Now, I don't think the filter would make that much difference on this thing, but as you can tell here, it's going to really do a good job when my kayak starts bouncing in the waves or whatever it's doing like that. It should keep the horizon really, really still. The other thing that I want to show you is this acts also as a open up this band like that, bring it in, and now your system is acting like a case, as you can see right here. Really, really cool. We're going to do some field testing on it sometime this week. We're taking it out on the kayak. But what it also does, guys, is the focus ability for selfies struggles when it's close. And most people are at arm length and all that kind of stuff. This will allow me to be beyond the arm's length with the step of the stabilizer out that far. It's going to give me that more focus ability when I'm doing narration in the kayak. So I think it's really going to work out really, really well. So hey, we're going to go out and get this field tested and do our thing. So guys, we're walking down the side yard here, and this is before we do the field test on water to see how the bobble is without the Z-axis stabilizer on it. So I'm just walking normally here, and I'm going to be doing the same thing with the Z-axis stabilizer installed. So I'm just walking around here. Now this part is done with the Z-axis stabilization installed, and I'm walking the same exact route to see how it does as far as I'm actually watching this arm move as I walk. So it's not the dramatic bounce removal, but it should take this thing out. We'll know in post-production, but again, we're doing this before we go out and do the on-water testing to see. I'm setting up and testing out the STARTRC Z-axis gimbal for the Osmo Pocket. As you can see here in the photo, this is the setup I use. Now, one of the first things I found out, the phone mount on the back, if you're facing your camera forward, hey, it works great. But the minute you go into selfie mode, it's going to pick up the back of your camera in the lens because of the lengths between the two. I have a special mount that I'll be hooking up to the monopod here, and I'll show you that in the wrap-up of the Z-axis stabilizer review that I'm doing on this right now. But right now, it seems I'm watching this thing, it's moving a little bit, and it's cool. It's keeping the horizon where I want it. But we're going to continue our paddle, guys, and just enjoy the day. We can't be out too long because the winds are going to kick up, and man, it is going to be hot. They're talking about 90 today, 92 or something like that. So we're going to check this out, probably run down to the lake, mouth of the lake, and then come back up the river and then call it a morning. So, hey, we'll be back in a bit. Now, as you can see with this setup here, when you raise it up on a monopod and it's doing the face tracking, you can see the phone here is picked up in the shot. So that's one of the drawbacks, and like I said, in the wrap-up, I'm going to go ahead and show you what I've done to take care of that problem. Well, hey guys, we are back and all the field testing is done, and we had some issues out there, and I want to share them with you and the ways that we took care of the problem. One of the things is the design of the mount location right here gets in the field of view when you're in selfie mode. You spin the thing around, you will see the back. When your cell phone is mounted, you will see the back of this and part of your cell phone in your video clip. So that's a bad thing. If they were to drop this down, say to about right there, when this thing is expanded, the cell phone would be perfect. And you wouldn't have to have this special adapter, which I'm going to talk about here in just a second. So the results on the on-water test is really unique. There were no problems, except when I went into selfie mode. I spun this thing around, it picked up the back of the camera, like I said, and again, if they would move the location of that 1/4 20 to about here, and I don't know if they can do that because it acts also like a case, but they could probably mold it and have it come out a little bit thicker and mount that thing right about here. You wouldn't need this doodad here for selfie work, vlogging, because if you're setting up the vlog like this and you have it set up the way they've designed it, your field of view is going to be blocked by the back of the camera and part of this cell phone clamp. So there was a way to fix that problem, and I kind of thought about that, and it's a pole mount cell phone system, and it's right here, $9.99. This is it. It really works well. What's so great about it, I can sit here and adjust this any way I want to be able to operate through the Mimo app and operate the Osmo Pocket. So I'll leave a description of that and where you can get it and all that kind of stuff. It's really cool. It clamps up well. It does various thicknesses. It has a clip mounting system, so I know it's not going anywhere. And unfortunately, this thing is going into a pile of the other ones that I have. I don't know if STARTRC is going to be listening to this video, but again, my suggestion is to take this 1/4 drop it down 2 inches. Then your field of view will not be blocked in the selfie mode. Now, in the standard mode, going out forward, this system works great. I mean, it really does a good job. It dampens about 30% when you're walking. So you have the stabilizer from the Osmo Pocket working, and then the Z-axis stabilizer is working. So it kind of dampens it out quite a bit. If you're going to do any vlogging, you're going to have to visit the idea of relocating your cell phone or not using a cell phone and using the little 1-inch screen there, but it's really hard to see what you're doing. But I'm really thinking that this thing is going to be a great addition to my kayak, and it does one more thing. Everyone knows that the Osmo Pocket, since its first delivery, had problems with the selfie mode focus range, and they've done really great with firmware updates and stuff like that to really improve that. But my arms is like that, and sometimes it's just not far enough. I need like about that much more, and then it just locked right in. Well, this kind of acts like that. You can see how I mount this in my kayak right up here, and what I do is I have a clip system that locks into this particular monopod with tripod legs and all that kind of stuff. And it locked right in there, so I don't have to worry about it, and I can paddle and do all my talking and narration and doing the video clips on water during my Paddling Places Florida reviews, and this thing operates perfectly. So I think the addition of this little Z-axis stabilizer is really going to be a good addition to my inventory, because with that little bit of distance, I get that real crystal clear, sharp video that I've been wanting, that DJI has been struggling with because of the focus range of the selfie system. So, is it worth the $20? I'd say yes. I hope you've enjoyed this video, guys, and this review. Hopefully I've given you some information for consideration if you decide that you want to get a Z-axis stabilizer, and if the STARTRC will be a good bet for you. So hey guys, you be safe out there, everybody stay well. We'll see you on the next one.